This video will display how to access the online checklist registration report that we're using during this year's registration. The report is located on the same screen that you normally use to launch the PAC version of Skyward. So to get to the report, you would just get to the PAC server the way you normally do, the PAC application. I'll go ahead and log in here. Log in as you normally do with your login and password. When you get to that screen, instead of clicking on the PAC icon, you'll want to find the icon that says Registration Checklist Report. It has a little green check mark on it. It may be down in the lower left-hand corner, may not be in the center of the screen like this, but it should be on the screen somewhere. So go ahead and locate it and double-click on it. When you do, it'll connect to the Skyward database so it gets information real time right out of the students' profiles. And it'll ask you for the student's last name. This is actually not the student's last name, it's actually what's known in Skyward as the alpha key. The alpha key always starts with the student's last name, and it's kind of a leftmost search. So it actually provides a lot of flexibility because, for instance, if a student's name is Lang, for instance, you can type in Lang, hit OK, and it'll actually show you all of the names in Skyward that begin with the four letters Lang. Similarly, if you were to type in JOH, again, it would go out and query Skyward for all the active students whose name began with JOH. The way I'm querying is by hitting this refresh button here, and that'll be used quite frequently throughout the registration process. Again, we just hit that button to requery, and we'll go back to the last name Lang for right now. So the report is intended to show at a glance whether or not someone has completed the steps of online registration and can proceed through the lines at on-site registration. Generally speaking, if there are no red items that appear on the report, the person can proceed. The report is structured with the 5 steps that we asked for in online registration, namely student information, whether or not an emergency treatment release was acknowledged, whether or not race and ethnicity information has been verified, whether or not the parent has acknowledged the rules and expectations set for their children, and whether or not online fees have been paid with a zero balance. So again, we're looking for red items. We'll pick this second student, and you'll see this student has some red items. So if this person were to arrive and we were to see these items, this person would have to go to a computer kiosk somewhere to complete these 3 items before they would be allowed to proceed through on-site registration. If we look at a model student, this person has completed all the steps of online registration. So they've provided student information, health notes have actually been entered, emergency treatment release, so on and so forth. And you'll also notice that the fees portion is green, which would indicate that the student has no balance. In other words, all the fees have been paid. Going back to this first example, there are no red items, so the person could proceed. The yellow items mean it's just a warning. In this case, the student's parents have not entered any health notes, which is okay because they may not have any allergies or medications or things that need to be brought up to us. So they could proceed. It's just meant to be informational. There is, however, a yellow item here regarding the fees, meaning that there is some sort of a balance. So this person could proceed through the lines. However, they would have to stop at the payment station so that they can clear the fees up. So again, the process in short will be to take the last name from the person who's registering, click the refresh button and enter the first few letters of that last name, then select the exact student within the list that's being registered, and to scan this report for any red items. If there are no red items, the person is allowed to proceed through registration. If, however, red items do appear, the person is asked to stop at a kiosk to go through the online registration process and successfully complete the items in the steps that are marked in red. You don't have to exit the program to requery. When the next person comes up, you can simply type in the name and select again. So it should be a relatively expedient process. To exit the program, you simply find the X in the upper right-hand corner, click the X, and exit out of Skyward as you normally do.